I am deeply aware of this great inheritance and of the duties and heavy responsibilities of sovereignty.
Effective immediately, Camilla Parker BS was no longer Queen of the United Kingdom. King Charles's words echoed through the Great Hall of Buckingham Palace, steady, deliberate, and chilling, as if they had etched themselves into the very stone. The chamber fell into absolute stillness, not a single breath daring to break the silence. William lifted his gaze, his face carefully blank, while beneath the table, Kate's fingers tightened around his hand. In that quiet exchange, both seemed to understand the same unspoken truth. From this moment forward, history had irrevocably changed. No one present could fathom what had driven the famously restrained monarch to deliver such a final, merciless judgment. Behind the gilded splendor of the throne, something irreparably fractured, a secret known only to the three figures at the room's center. When Charles announced his intention to abdicate in favor of Prince William, the air grew thick with unspoken truths ready to surface. Under the harsh glare of television cameras, Camilla's expression remained composed, almost serene, yet for the briefest instant, her eyes betrayed a flicker of emotion, caught somewhere between pride and panic. What had transpired before this ceremony one night? One phone call, one lie, or perhaps a carefully crafted plan remained a mystery. Was this the act of a king pursuing justice over devotion, or the calculated move of a man confronting a devastating betrayal? Inside Buckingham Palace, the atmosphere felt unbearably dense, the crimson velvet drapes and gilded carvings pressing the silence into something almost suffocating. The atmosphere inside Buckingham Palace was thick, almost threatening, as King Charles III, heir to a millennium of royal tradition, prepared to deliver a declaration that would jolt the Commonwealth and permanently reshape the modern British monarchy. The king, who had waited a lifetime to ascend the throne, stepped forward, his usual aura of confidence and regal authority tempered by visible exhaustion. Even the immaculate precision of his ceremonial attire could not mask the toll of months spent battling cancer, a struggle that had now intensified and demanded sacrifices few could imagine. Pausing behind an ancient oak lectern, the harsh glare of hastily installed broadcast lights carved sharp shadows into the deep lines of his face. His voice, steady yet restrained, struck a careful balance between human fragility and the unyielding responsibility of kingship as he addressed his declining health. Then, with deliberate gravity, he announced his decision to abdicate, stepping aside to focus on treatment and guide the nation into a new chapter. The press room froze in stunned silence at this unprecedented act, the cameras capturing the rare image of a reigning monarch relinquishing power. But that revelation was only the beginning. As Charles named Prince William his successor, his gaze shifted sharply toward Queen Camilla, who stood radiant in an emerald green gown. She had weathered years of controversy and public scrutiny, surviving every storm at his side and earning her crown and public acceptance. She had expected to witness William's rise while she assumed the role of dignified stepmother, but then Charles spoke again, his tone final and merciless. Camilla would be stripped of every royal title. The room seemed to stagger, as if struck, the weight of the announcement reverberating through the gilded halls. The revelation struck like a sudden bolt of lightning. Even William, renowned for his iron self-control, betrayed a fleeting flicker of shock before regaining his composure. At his side, Catherine, Princess of Wales, remained motionless as stone, her tightly clasped hands the only sign of the strain she struggled to suppress. The justification for the unprecedented action was devastating. Camilla was suspected of falsifying the king's medical records, allegedly attempting to manipulate authority and seize power during his illness. In that instant, Camilla nearly let her silk handkerchief slip from her fingers. The serene facade she had perfected over years collapsed, her eyes wide not with fear, but with pure disbelief. She had planned for every contingency, every scenario except this. A decisive blow from the man she thought she still controlled. The press conference dissolved into chaos as journalists surged forward, voices overlapping, phones ringing, and decorum vanished in the scramble to report the scandal. The royal family exited swiftly, offering no words, no gestures of reassurance. William and Kate moved with the urgency of people escaping catastrophe, their silence echoing louder than any statement. Even the most discreet aides and servants could not suppress their murmurs. Corridors and private chambers hummed with speculation. Queen Camilla's reign had ended suddenly, humiliatingly, dismantled in mere minutes before a global audience. Beyond the palace gates, London erupted. The British press, ever hungry for royal controversy, exploded with coverage headlines like King abdicates, Queen betrayed flashing across screens. Newspapers chronicled Camilla's dramatic fall, from her place in the Order of the Garter to the crown she had only recently worn. Public opinion fractured. Some praised Charles's action as a long overdue assertion of justice, a monarch choosing integrity over personal loyalty. Others saw it as a calculated power maneuver, with Camilla cast as a casualty of William's inner circle. Amid the uproar, Charles withdrew to his private chambers, needing no headlines to know the impact one look at William's face and the quiet spoke volumes. The confrontation with his own reflection confirmed Charles's resolve. He had fought cancer, and now he faced another, far more corrosive illness. Ambition disguised as devotion. His eyes drifted toward the window, where the final traces of twilight slipped away. He had acted in the name of justice, yet beneath that resolve lay the profound anguish of a husband betrayed. What had occurred 1 week earlier, behind the closed doors of the private chambers he shared with the woman he once trusted above all else, had provoked a merciless, world-altering decree. 7 days earlier, at Sandringham Palace, the royal refuge prized for its quiet privacy, it had been the couple's wedding anniversary. Despite the relentless pain of his illness, Charles had insisted on preparing a small, personal token. A traditional brooch he had chosen himself, resting inside a dark green velvet case, intended for Camilla, the woman he had spent a lifetime fighting to love and believed would remain his anchor. Moving slowly along the long corridor, his steps muted by the ornate Persian carpet, a small lantern in his hand cast flickering light across the ancestral portraits lining the walls. Tonight, the weight of history meant nothing. He was not a monarch, but a husband seeking a quiet, tender moment. As he approached Camilla's private rooms, her voice stopped him cold. Normally warm and soothing, her tone now carried a sharp, unyielding edge that froze him in place. She was on the phone. Courtesy dictated that he announce himself, but instinctive dread held him just outside the carved oak door. "I don't want it to sound critical, Harland," she said, calm yet authoritative, instructing her physician. "I want it to sound more critical than it actually is. Severe exhaustion, indefinite rest required. That will persuade the council that the king needs a prolonged recovery." Shock ran straight through Charles. Harland, his trusted confidant and physician, was being pressured to falsify his medical records, and the one orchestrating it was Camilla. Charles's grip tightened around the velvet box. He stood perfectly still, no longer King Charles, but a man listening as a devastating truth revealed itself. Camilla dialed another number, her voice now carrying a restrained excitement, the controlled energy of someone nearing victory. "Good, then we move forward," she said. "I need the documents for changes within the royal committee prepared immediately. We can't allow those indecisive fools to obstruct us. They'll agree to anything as long as it's framed as being for the good of the crown." Her final words dripped with thinly veiled scorn. Charles's condition would force him to step back, and during that period, she would establish a temporary regency council to maintain stability. Every sentence struck like a blade. This was no simple manipulation of medical details. It was a calculated plan to strip him of authority at his weakest moment. Under the guise of concern and devotion, Camilla was positioning herself to seize control of the court. Charles stepped back silently. The anniversary gift slipped from his fingers, the green velvet box landing softly on the rug, but to him, it echoed like shattering glass. His eyes, dulled by illness, burned with the pain of betrayal. He had long observed ambition in politicians and courtiers, but never had he imagined it in the woman he loved. Camilla did not merely wish to be queen. She sought to rule, to wield power from the shadows, commanding the palace without ever sitting on the throne. He remained frozen, utterly undone. The physical toll of cancer paled in comparison to this collapse of the heart. Something invisible, yet immense, had fractured not the palace walls, but the bond between husband and wife, king and queen. Deep, irreversible, consuming every memory of trust and affection. Finally, he turned and walked back down the corridor in silence. The velvet box remained where it had fallen, a mute symbol of sincerity betrayed. Charles returned to his chambers, burdened not only by illness, but by deception. He stared toward the darkened horizon. The crown was no longer merely an emblem of duty and power, it had become a battleground. From that chilling discovery at Sandringham onward, Charles withdrew entirely from public life, officially citing strict medical rest. Yet beneath this carefully constructed silence lay not weakness, but the focused resolve of a monarch quietly readying himself for confrontation. Every step he took was scrutinized, not by distant adversaries, but by those closest to him, likely acting at Camilla's behest. Moving with extreme caution, drawing on instincts honed in the Royal Navy and lessons from Queen Elizabeth II's reign, his first step was deliberate. He retreated to the private library, a serene chamber lined with leather-bound books and generations of recorded history. To access the sealed archives of Charles accessed the royal medical records, confidential files documenting the health of the family across decades, and what he discovered was deeply unsettling. 2 separate medical reports bore his name, both dated from his most recent examination, just a week prior. Each carried the official stamp of his personal physician, Dr. Harland, but their contents could not have been more different. One report, obtained discreetly through a loyal nurse, described his condition as stable, requiring observation but posing no immediate danger. The second, circulated to the Royal Council and senior advisors, painted a far more alarming picture. Severe decline, nervous exhaustion, and the need for indefinite rest and intervention. The contradiction was undeniable. This was more than tampering, it was a profound breach of trust. Placing the 2 documents side by side beneath the lamp, the truth became stark and unavoidable. Camilla had manipulated Harland, manufacturing justification for his removal from active authority. While Charles quietly worked to uncover the deception, Camilla advanced her own agenda. To the public, she appeared the devoted, anxious wife, expressing concern for her husband while emphasizing the need for temporary leadership during his absence. Behind closed doors, she met with select senior officials, subtly casting doubt on Charles's capacity to govern and offering promises of elevated positions, expanded budgets, and greater influence to secure their support for a regency council under her direction. Framed as a safeguard for the crown, her ambitions were meticulously disguised. Slowly, her network widened, creating dangerous fractures within the palace walls. Yet truth has a way of emerging from unexpected places. Catherine, Princess of Wales, known for her attention to detail and quiet discipline, noticed something unusual while reviewing the palace's internal emails, a peculiar thread that might just unravel the carefully constructed web of deceit. A series of exchanges between Camilla and Dr. Harland revealed itself in a string of irregular emails, often sent late at night, written in a strangely coded language. Rather than discussing health, they referenced vague arrangements and schedules. One message stood out, an email from Harland to Camilla with an attachment labeled simply Plan B. Kate immediately sensed that this went far beyond routine palace intrigue. Though she had always treated Camilla with respect, this discovery pushed her doubts past restraint. Without delay, she informed Prince William directly. At the time, William was already under immense strain, balancing worry for his father's health with the growing weight of his future role as king. As he read Kate's message in his Kensington Palace office, his expression hardened line by line. He had long respected his stepmother, believing she brought stability and happiness to Charles's life, but the evidence Kate uncovered shattered that belief. What he saw was not devotion, but manipulation. Loyalty to Camilla eroded, replaced by a deep sense of betrayal and a firm resolve to defend both family and monarchy. Standing by the window, gazing at London's heavy grey sky, suspicion sharpened into resolve. From that moment, William and Kate became part of a silent inquiry, aligned with King Charles himself. 2 generations of the royal family now stood united, preparing to confront the shadow of ambition rising from within their own ranks. Prince William and Princess Kate launched their investigation with the discipline and discretion of seasoned operatives, working only with their most trusted aides, relying on encrypted channels, and avoiding the surveillance-heavy corridors of Buckingham Palace, where Camilla still exercised a fragile hold on influence. Their objective extended beyond suspicious emails. They needed conclusive, undeniable proof of the Queen's wrongdoing. William and Kate quickly turned their attention to Dr. Harland, custodian of the royal medical records and a physician of spotless reputation, recognizing him as the most vulnerable link, someone coerced or tempted by Camilla. Through painstaking analysis of phone metadata and palace server logs, they uncovered decisive evidence. A recorded telephone conversation between Camilla and Harland. As William listened, anger and disbelief surged through him. Camilla's voice, measured, calm, and utterly unrepentant, instructed Harland to inflate the king's medical condition, deliberately employing alarming language to ensure Charles would be removed from all official duties. The recording was irrefutable, a devastating confirmation of everything King Charles had feared. Together, William and Kate presented the evidence, the recording, and the 2 contradictory medical reports to the king. Charles's fingers trembled as he pressed play. Hearing his wife speak of him as a mere obstacle in her pursuit of power carved deeply into him. This was not merely the treachery of a queen. It was the betrayal of the woman to whom he had given unwavering trust and love. Yet Charles maintained his composure. Despite the depth of his pain, he granted Camilla one final opportunity to confess. Not out of mercy, but as an ethical reckoning, a chance to salvage whatever dignity remained in their fractured bond. Their private meeting took place in a small drawing room, occupied only by the two of them and an oppressive silence. Camilla entered with practiced assurance, sensing his emotional distance, yet confident her charm and manipulation would shield her. A faint, calculated smile crossed her lips. Charles did not confront her with evidence immediately. Instead, he met her gaze, his eyes carrying both the sorrow of a betrayed husband and the authority of a sovereign. Calmly, he questioned her about her concern for his health and her recent communications with Harland. Camilla evaded effortlessly, letting out a soft sigh and feigning sadness, dismissing it as a misunderstanding, claiming her actions were motivated solely by fear for his well-being. She redirected blame toward unnamed advisors, suggesting that jealous palace figures had fabricated rumors to undermine her and fracture their marriage. Her bold denials and complete absence of Camilla's complete lack of remorse extinguished the final trace of hope within Charles. In that moment, he understood there was no regret, only strategy. When she departed, still cloaked in the posture of an injured spouse, Charles knew his course was set. Personal anguish could not supersede his duty as king. He would not leave William to inherit a monarchy corroded by deception and internal conspiracy. Without delay, he summoned his private secretary. His decision was absolute. He would formally abdicate, transferring the crown to Prince William immediately, and Camilla's scheme, along with all supporting evidence, would be presented in full before the royal council. Justice would not be hidden. It would be public and unmistakable. Seated at his ancient desk, Charles lifted his pen and began signing the abdication decree and related documents, each stroke unbearably heavy. Alongside the official papers, he composed a final handwritten note to Camilla, short, intimate, and unadorned of farewell stripped of ceremony. He sealed the letter in a plain envelope with the abdication documents. The next morning, Montecito Villa was bathed in gentle California winter sunlight. Meghan Markle sat at the breakfast table, coffee long cold, anxiously checking for responses after sending encrypted messages to an intermediary, demanding the erasure of all remaining traces. Silence. Her phone offered only endless ringing, and real anxiety crept into her heart. Forcing a smile, she walked to the backyard to watch Harry playing with Archie and Lilibet, their laughter echoing across the Pacific. "I'm busy with some work," she told Harry, voice light but heavy with tension. Across the ocean at Windsor Palace, Kate continued her relentless pursuit. After piecing together clues from within the palace, she traced the origin of the fake DNA test. The Royal Investigation Team coordinated with London's most reputable independent laboratory, uncovering a digital trail leading to an underground facility on the city's outskirts, specializing in falsified documents for the wealthy. Within 24 hours, the facility's head was summoned. Initially silent, he quickly confessed under the weight of transfer evidence and encrypted emails. "I received orders from an intermediary," he said, voice trembling. The investigation uncovered detailed design samples, meticulously crafted to match the real documents exactly, with money funneled through 3 layers of accounts. Kate listened via a secure call as the final piece emerged. A clear order email accompanied by a direct transfer invoice from Meghan's personal secretary's account. "Enough," she said softly to William as she hung up. "We have everything." Meghan still tried to salvage the situation, contacting a private London lawyer that afternoon, insisting, "I wasn't directly involved, it was all the intermediary." The lawyer's silence lingered before he replied, "Ma'am, the financial traces are being pursued very quickly. The royal family has more resources than we think." Meghan hung up, hands trembling, feeling true fear for the first time. That night, she could not sleep, deleting old messages and burning handwritten notes, but knowing it was too late. What had been sent could not be retrieved. "I miscalculated," she whispered, regret and fury mingling in her voice. A fleeting thought of George, innocent and adorable, passed through her mind, but it was quickly drowned by worry for her own future. The next morning, Kate convened a closed meeting at Buckingham Palace with King Charles, William, and the highest advisors. She presented the full evidence: the fake maintenance report, transfers from Meghan's secretary, order emails for the fabricated DNA, confessions from involved staff, and technical analysis of the recording. Everything was arranged logically, leaving no loopholes. "We cannot let this drag on," Kate said, her voice ringing with authority. "I propose publicly revealing the truth today, before rumors spread further." King Charles nodded, and just hours later, the official press conference was held in Buckingham's Grand Hall. Kate stepped before the cameras, calm in appearance but sharp-eyed, presenting only the essential evidence. "The royal family has collected full documents proving the recording and DNA test were completely fabricated," she stated. "All traces lead to one individual who hired others to execute the scheme from afar." To dispel any remaining doubts, she announced new DNA test results, conducted directly at the Royal Laboratory under strict supervision by independent experts. The results confirmed, beyond dispute, that she and George shared a 99.999% blood relation, undeniable and conclusive. William stood beside his wife, his voice deep and warm. "Our family was attacked in a cowardly way, but truth always triumphs." George, though not appearing directly, had been tightly hugged by Kate before the conference began. "You don't need to worry anymore," she whispered to him. "Mommy has fixed everything." In Montecito, Meghan watched the conference live, her face pale as each piece of evidence was announced. She turned off the TV, slumped in her chair. Harry entered, worried, asking what was wrong, but Meghan could only shake her head, unable to speak. Efforts to cover up had failed completely. Everything was now out of control. Back in Windsor, peace gradually returned. Kate sat beside George in the nursery, reading to him as usual. His laughter rang freely, and no more confused questions clouded the room. She looked at her son, heart full of emotion, whispering, "Mommy will always protect you." Though the battle was not over, Kate knew they had won the turning point. From afar, Meghan felt the real consequences approaching: calls from lawyers, warning messages, all signaling a storm she had gambled too much to avoid. In the days following, all eyes in the United Kingdom turned to the oath and formal proclamation ceremony. Prince William, now king, stood upon the solemn balcony of a historic palace, marked by calm authority and quiet strength. At his side, Princess Kate, now queen, remained composed and unwavering, her gaze reflecting absolute faith in her husband and in the righteousness of their path. The ceremony carried rare gravity, and the public responded not just to a new king, but to the dawn of a renewed era defined by honesty, accountability, and restored trust. Media narratives shifted dramatically, praising King Charles's moral courage in relinquishing the throne for the sake of truth, and William's resolve in confronting corruption within his own family. Meanwhile, Camilla, officially stripped of all royal titles, left Buckingham Palace quietly, carrying only a few personal items, her expression hollow, ambition and pride dissolved into emptiness. Her destination was a remote manor in the southern countryside, far from public scrutiny, where she entered a life of solitude, enduring and silent. King Charles, too, withdrew entirely from public life, retreating to a private estate to recover and find peace. Distance from the capital brought him rare clarity. Beyond formal documents, he began a deeply personal memoir tracing the betrayal, the secret investigation alongside William and Kate, and the judgment he delivered before the Royal Council. In its closing passages, he reflected on destiny, choice, and the strange freedom found in placing duty above emotion. His thoughts returned to the sealed letter to Camilla, never sent, a quiet remnant of a relationship defined by devotion and conflict. In the final lines of his memoir, written steadily and without weakness, he wrote, "Love can blind, obscuring judgment for years. Justice never does. It demands clarity, absolute and unforgiving, even when that clarity destroys personal happiness." As he closed the manuscript, a solemn palace bell chimed in the distance, a sound of continuity and renewal. A new monarchy had taken root, one where hidden ambitions had been banished and the legacy of integrity safeguarded by his successor.